What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for pressing play. Today, we are here at Blackout Tinting because we're going to try to fix the ZR1. If you guys haven't seen the previous video, this car is having a code P0300, which is a random misfire. We're not sure exactly what's causing it or how exactly to fix it, but we're going to try it today. So come with me as we try to fix the P0300 code. This is a pretty common issue with the C7s from what I understand, so maybe you'll learn something. Or maybe I will. We'll see what happens. All right, so the first step is we're gonna come back into the back hatch area here and disconnect the battery because we're gonna be working with some electrical components up in the front. We need that battery disconnected first. With the battery disconnected, guys, the next step is we gotta remove this carbon fiber cover. Now, this is not going to be installed on every C7 out there. This is really just a ZR1 thing. So if you have a Z06 or a Stingray, you won't have to do this step. But if you have a ZR1, there is 4 10mm screws, 2 on each side. You gotta take those off to pop that cover off. Should just you can take it, just set it over there somewhere. All right, so with the cover off, we can come on the driver's side here. This is the easier side to do, by the way, guys. When we do the passenger side, you're gonna see why I'm saying this, but down in here, you can see up underneath this plastic cover, which is held on with 2 T25 screws, I believe those are. That's where your coil packs are at. So this part of the wire, we don't really have to worry too much about. What we're gonna be working with is way down underneath there. And with the flash on, you can kind of see the spark plug down there. It's the silver, yeah, right there. So we're gonna pop those off and replace some plugs on the driver's side first. And then we're gonna do the passenger side, which, like I said, is a little more difficult. So I went and actually bought these pliers specifically for this because we're gonna have to grab this without destroying the silver boot here on right there. And I'm gonna grab it with these and just kind of pop it backwards. So the first spark plug wire is off. Now these, guys, these are not easy to get out. This tool might come in handy, but this one was the easiest one to do and it was still pretty difficult. So yeah, be prepared for this. The next one over obviously is even harder because we got even more stuff in the way. We're gonna have to really finagle some tools down in there to pop these things off. So the tool is possibly key here, guys. It is really hard to film any of this. I'm doing my absolute best, but you got to just really pull on that, kind of clamp on the metal and then just push backwards. If you wiggle it on the plug a little bit, it helps loosen it up, it seems. Now, again, this is just getting the plug off. This isn't even actually getting the plug out yet. So just kind of pull back while you're wiggling it. There it is. All right, so again, guys, this is the easy side, easy. What's gonna happen here now is we gotta, all 4 of the spark plug wires off. Now we gotta get into the actual spark plug itself, which is almost impossible for me to show on camera. You can see the tip of that one right there. But for the most part, this is gonna be the more difficult part. So let's go ahead and get the socket on there and start getting these things out. Hopefully one of these is damaged in some way, shape, or form. I know that sounds weird wishing for that, but in this case, that is best case scenario. So we got spark plug number 1 loose.
All right, well then, that makes it easy. I'm gonna remember he said that.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna wanna remember that when we start into that side. You thought this was tough.
It's not gonna be as tough over here on this side for me.
That other side is definitely harder.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Man, it feels like these things are threaded forever. All right, there we go. All right, we don't want to drop this thing.
It doesn't matter. Let it fall. Let it fall.
Yeah, this looks definitely dirty, but as far as I can tell, not damaged. There's a fair amount of oil on it, though. These plug wires being in the way aren't really helping anything. I guess we pop. Yeah, we could pop them off the coil, but you'd think GM would find a way to make these things a little easier to access. Would it be a bad idea to impact these out? All right. That was actually a little easier than the first one. All right, 2 out. This one looks a little bit better. Still pretty burnt though. So the third one is going to be possibly the most interesting one yet. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get down in there. Obviously, I got 2 extensions here because one of the extensions I have is a little bit too long, and then I've got the swivel joint at the end. And it's kind of difficult to get it down in there. I know I'm making this sound like a pretty big deal, and a lot of you guys out there are going to be like, "Oh, this is not that big of a deal." It's not that it's impossible by any means. It's just I don't want to drop anything underneath the car and be stuck trying to get it and all that good stuff. So it is not a super simple job, but it's not necessarily horribly difficult either. I did too. You want to do too?
No, I don't.
Just give it a shot. It's all about leverage. It worked. All right, so third one is out. Intact for the most part. Definitely a little more burnt looking than I would like, but 16, 17,000 miles. So far I haven't seen anything that screams problem. But like I said, guys, this third one was significantly more difficult than the first 2. So I can't wait for the actual difficult side. So we got 4 out. So the driver's side is completely done. And this is what we got. So this is the one out of the first bot that we did right there. And it looks the worst, but the new ones, of course, look brand new. There's the exact same stock replacement. So if you guys are doing this on your Z06 or ZR1, and I think the Stingrays are the same too, 41-148 is the AC Delco spark plug part number. They are the iridium plugs, which means they're supposed to last for a long time, but yeah, nothing looks out of place on these. None of them are missing the electrode or anything. None of them are cracked. Everything looks all right. So I'm going to go ahead and put the new plugs back in on the driver's side, and then we're going to start onto the passenger side and see if any of those look bad. And if they don't, I might just stop and go get some spark plug wires just to get that done, because if the plugs don't look bad, I'm kind of at a loss as to what's causing this issue. If it's not the spark plug, it should be the wire or possibly the coil pack. Either way, I don't want to tear into this only to have to put it back together to find out that these were not the problem. So let's continue on. I'm going to put all these new plugs in on the driver's side. We're going to get to the passenger side, pull out all the old ones, and if there's no visible issue, we'll kind of come up with a game plan at that point. All right, so all the spark plugs I took out did not have any kind of anti-seize on this area here, so I'm not going to put any on these either. Now, there was a little bit of dielectric grease on the tip here. I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease on here, and then we're going to go ahead and screw these things in. It's a little easier going in than it was coming out, that's for sure. The threads on these spark plugs are so freaking long. Tighten that one up, and then we are good to go on the next one. Status update, we got 3 of them installed. We got 1 more to do on the driver's side. And just so you guys know, you're not working on cars until you have some sort of blood coming out of your hands. This is really tight on this side, even though this is the easy side. So yeah, not looking forward to the other side, but 1 left over here, and then we are on to the difficult one. Now, I don't really feel like I should show you guys all the reinstallation of all this stuff, because it is the exact opposite of removal. Just put these in and screw them down. I showed, I think, 1 or 2 of them. Use your imagination for the rest of them. But these are, the back one here especially is pretty difficult to get to. But these ones, just keep in mind, these are the easy ones. All right, so we got all of the plugs replaced. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna just give a little bit of a touch of dielectric grease. So we're gonna put just a dab in there. We'll call it a dollop of dielectric. So we'll put some in here and pop each one of these plug wires on, and then we're on to the more difficult side. Less is more with this stuff, guys. You can just kind of push it right in there, and I'll just do something like that. Just kind of let it fall down into there because the plug's going to kind of push it down in anyway. So if you can see in there how much I put in, I'll push this onto the plug now, and that's pretty much it for the first plug. We'll do that 3 more times, and then on to the difficult side. All right, guys, so we are over on the passenger side now. We got the driver's side all buttoned up, all new plugs put on, dielectric grease, the spark plug snapped back in place. You can see we're gonna have a little bit of an issue because of the fuse box. So we have to actually take the fuse box, the bottom part, and the plugs underneath the fuse box. We gotta take it all out. So we're gonna show you the process. It's not super difficult. It is kind of a pain in the butt because you shouldn't have to take out all this stuff to get to your spark plugs, but hey, I don't work at GM. So let's go ahead and get that started. And then we should have somewhat of a clear view of the plugs once we get that box out of the way. So first step, we're gonna go ahead and remove the fuse box cover, which is just some clips up here in the front. So we'll pull these 2 clips. And then the cover's off. So the next step is we need to get the whole fuse box out of here. Now what you can see is right in here, there are little clips that you'll have to pull back on to allow this handle to fold up. So I'll pull this one back, and then there's one on this side as well. And then you can see we can pull this handle up. Now we'll do the same thing on this side, the little clips, and then pull the handle up, and that's going to allow us to pull the entire box off. So if you have a ZR1, it's looking like this bracket here might have to come off. We also have to pop up this little hinged plastic right here. To get to the 13mm bolt, we got to take this off so we can get the entire fuse box out of the way. So like I said, if you have a Z06 or a Stingray, you probably won't have to do that part because those don't exist on a Z06 or Stingray. Now we can lift this handle up enough to pop that fuse box up and out. So there are 2 cables back here on this 13mm nut or stud there. So once you get those off, that comes out. Then we're left with these, which we will slide these out and then remove the lower tray as well. So with the fuse box out, we have all of these blocks here. These are actually pretty easy to remove. So you can see these little tabs right back here. We'll just depress the tab with a screwdriver, and you can then slide them out of place and just lift it right out. Again, right here is a tab, slide it back, lift it out. And ultimately what we're gonna do is take off this 10mm nut, this 10mm, and then there's another one back here. And then this entire lower box will come out as well. Those should be 10s, right?
Yeah, just 10.
Okay, so not on there with very much torque at all. There it is. All right, so box comes out relatively easily once you get the screws out and everything. We also had to unclip. There was a little bracket holding what looks like maybe an AC line in place. So now we have a little bit easier access to these spark plugs. Still not easy by any means, but easier. So we're gonna start with first and foremost, of course. Hopefully one of these plugs looks like it is visibly damaged so I can sleep tonight. These things are definitely worth their weight in gold. So we got all 4 plugs changed, all 4 wires reattached. We are good to go. We're gonna go ahead and start putting the fuse box back in. But all 8 plugs have been done. I have not seen anything on these plugs that scream that there's an issue, but we're gonna see if this does it, and if not, the next step is the wires. So right here are the spark plugs from the driver's side, or the passenger side, I mean. They look about the same as the plugs on the driver's side. None of them are obviously damaged. They all have the diodes in place. There's no broken porcelain, stripped threads, broken electrodes or anything like I said. Everything looks pretty good. I mean, some of them, like this one, looks really, really carboned up. So it's possible that that's causing an issue. The rest of them weren't quite as black as this one, but I don't see anything that really screams this is the problem. So we're gonna put everything back together, clear the check engine light, start it up, and see what happens. So we got the bottom of the box back in. We still got to put the screws in, but these things, just like removal, they just slide in and snap into place. Nothing too crazy here. We'll put the 10mm nuts back in place, and then the top of the fuse box can go back on with these 2 wires right behind it. Make sure you remember to get those in. And then we'll just put the box on top, and then fingers crossed, that's all it takes. All right, guys, so we just finished up with the C7 Corvette ZR1, and yeah, we changed out all the plugs. I added a little bit of dielectric grease to the plug wires, pushed everything back in, and started up the car, and sure enough, no check engine light. So I can't actually get the car out yet. As you can see here, I'm a blackout team. There's a bunch of cars all around. So not only that, there's about 4 or 5 inches of snow outside and salt on the road. So I don't want to take the car out just yet. So I can't open it up and fully test this, but on the surface, it looks like this fixed it. So yeah, I know a lot of you guys out there were thinking it was going to either be the spark plugs, plug wires, or the coil packs. Luckily, it looks like it was the spark plugs. They cost me about $100 on Rock Auto. I'll link it in the description down below. But basically, if you have the P0300 code like I did, odds are very good it's one of those 3 things. And from what I've been told, pretty much every C7 Corvette owner has jumped on and told me on my last video that it is the plugs. It's not the wires, it's not the coil packs, it's the plugs. There was actually a technical service bulletin about this, that apparently the stock plugs had this issue. So we got it fixed, hopefully, and I will report back if it is not in fact fixed. But yeah, there she is, looking good. I'm gonna have her at the Pittsburgh International Auto Show here really soon, guys, so be on the lookout for that. But for now, it looks like it's fixed. Smash the thumbs up button if you liked what you saw, guys, and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will keep you updated as to what happens here. Hopefully it is a permanent fix, but I'll catch you guys in the next one.